Hi there, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time joining, my name is Vicki Fisher and I'm a yoga teacher. Welcome. Today we will move through a heart-opening yoga flow to release tension from the shoulders and upper spine while inviting some love and gratitude into our day. So if you'd like to join me, you can come to the front of your mat, bringing your hands to heart, closing the eyes, beginning to take a deep inhale, filling up your belly, your chest, your throat, and exhaling from throat, chest, belly. Taking another deep inhale, filling the belly, the chest, throat. Exhale, throat, chest, belly. Continuing to breathe, grounding yourself in this moment. Dropping the hands down, opening the eyes. And taking a deep inhale, rising your hands up above the head, palms touch, looking up. Exhale, diving down to the ground, dropping your head and bending knees if you need. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, belly in, looking forward. Exhale, planting your hands and taking a big step back with your right foot, coming into a runner's lunge and taking some rocks backwards and forwards, beginning to warm up your hips. Dropping your back knee down, untucking the toe, and taking a moment to sink that right hip down to the ground. Then, interlacing your fingers, placing them on top of your left thigh. Beginning to press down on the thigh with your hands as you lift your chest up and sink your right hip down to the mat. Releasing your fingers. Inhale, sweeping your hands up, palms touch, looking up. Exhale, hands to heart. Planting the hands down, framing the front foot, and then stepping all the way back to downward facing dog. Spreading your fingers wide, pushing your chest back towards the thighs. Your head should be between your arms, coming up onto your toes, bending the knees, and just pedaling out through the feet. So bending one knee at a time and then driving the opposite heel down towards the mat. Coming to stillness and driving both heels down, holding. Inhale, rolling forward into a high plank position, making a strong straight line with your body, belly in. Dropping the back knees down and tucking your toes, shifting the weight forwards in front of your wrists, and then keeping your elbows close to the ribs, lowering your chest before your belly to the mat. Pressing through the hands next to the ribs, coming up for a cobra and looking over your right shoulder, cobra twist. Coming back through the middle, lowering down. Taking an inhale as you press up and look to the left, twisting to look over the left shoulder. Coming back through the middle, one last big cobra. Inhale, rising up, rolling your shoulder blades back and down. And exhale, lowering down, tucking the toes, pushing back onto the knees, lifting the hips up and back into downward dog. Stepping the feet in if you need, pushing the chest back, lifting the hips up and back as you drive the heels down. Breathing. Looking forward, stepping up with your left foot to the top of the mat, followed by your right foot. Hands to shins, inhale, straight spine, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising all the way back up to the sky, palms touch, looking up. Exhale, hands to heart. Repeating. Inhale, hands rise, looking up. Exhale, diving down to forward fold, dropping the head. Inhale, halfway lift, straight, strong spine, looking forward. Exhale, planting the hands, big step back with the left foot. Coming into a runner's lunge and taking rocks backwards and forward, opening up your left hip flexor. Coming to stillness, dropping your back knee down, untucking that back foot. Staying here for a moment as you open the chest and sink your left hip flexor down. Then, interlacing your fingers, placing them on your right thigh, lifting your chest up, sinking the left hip down, breathing. Dropping the fingers, inhale, hands rise up, looking up. Exhale, hands to heart, planting the hands and stepping back to downward dog, pushing the chest back towards the thighs, driving the heels back and down, holding and breathing. Trying to internally rotate your thighs towards each other. Inhale, rolling forward into a plank pose. Exhale, dropping the knees down, untucking toes, and lowering your chest before your belly to the mat. This time coming into a Sphinx pose. So coming up onto your forearms, making sure that your elbows are not splaying outwards to the side. So bring the elbows close to your ribs, spreading your fingers wide, pulling the mat towards your ribs. And this will allow your shoulders to open back. Breathing here. Staying here, or if you'd like to challenge yourself, coming onto your right forearm, reaching back and seeing if you can grab your left foot with the left hand, and then pulling that left heel in towards the buttock. Releasing with control and switching sides. Coming onto your left forearm, reaching your right arm back and trying to grab your right foot, and then pushing the heel in towards your right buttock. Taking a moment to stretch the quads. Coming back to your Sphinx on both arms. Staying here for a moment, opening your chest. And then lowering down, hands next to ribs, pushing up and back into downward facing dog, holding and breathing. Looking forward, taking a big step with the right foot up, followed by the left foot to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands rise all the way to the sky, looking up. Exhale, bringing your hands to heart. Dropping the hands down. Inhale, let's go again. Hands rise, palms touch. Exhale, diving down, folding. Inhale, halfway lift, belly in, straight spine. Exhale, planting the hands, big step with the right foot back, dropping the knee. Inhale, rising up into low lunge, hands to the sky. Exhale, right hand forward, left hand back, looking back. Inhale, hands through center. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand back. Inhale through the center. Exhale, planting the hands, stepping back to downward dog, holding and breathing. Inhale, rolling into your plank. Exhale, lowering down through chaturanga, belly in until you reach the floor. Now coming for an inner shoulder stretch. Extending your left hand out in line with the shoulder, palm facing down. Beginning to roll onto your inner left shoulder. Just placing your right hand in front of you on the mat for support. If you'd like to take it deeper, you can bend your right leg, placing the sole of the foot behind you and allowing your right knee to fall backwards, taking you into a deeper twist. And gently beginning to release, rolling onto your belly and extending your right arm, beginning to roll onto the inner right shoulder, making sure you have a good position of the arm. So if it's hurting, you might not be in the right place. So play around with it until it feels good. Breathing into the shoulder. And beginning to come back onto your belly, planting your hands, pushing up and back into downward dog. Stepping the feet in if you need. Pushing your chest back as you lift the hips up and back. Internally rotating the thighs, driving heels down. Looking forward, taking a big step with the left foot up, followed by the right to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, straight spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands rise to the sky, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Last round. Inhale, hands rise. Taking a slight back bend at the top. Exhale, diving down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, belly in, looking forward. Exhale, planting hands, left foot steps back, dropping the knee, untucking toe. Inhale, rising hands up. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand back. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, right hand forward, left hand back. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, planting your hands, stepping back to downward dog, pushing the chest back, holding and breathing. Inhale, rolling into your plank. Exhale, dropping the knees and lowering through chaturanga. Now preparing for some spine and posture strengthening poses. Placing your palms flat alongside your body. Pressing tops of feet into the ground, pressing your hands into the ground. Beginning to lift your shoulders and chest off the floor. Hands are still on the floor, feet are on the floor. Rolling your shoulder blades back, lifting your chest up, and then lowering down. We will do one more. Taking an inhale to prepare. Exhale, lifting your chest up. Squeezing the shoulder blades back towards each other. Looking forward and lowering down. Now coming for a full locust. Inhaling to prepare. Exhale, beginning to lift your feet off the mat up and back, lifting your hands up and back, lifting your chest up and back, pointing back through the toes and hands, and then lowering down. Doing one more. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lifting your feet up, hands up, chest up. Maybe interlacing your fingers behind the back and pulling your hands away from you to open the chest, lifting a bit higher and releasing down. Well done. Okay. Now, attempting to do a full bow pose. So kicking your left foot in and seeing if you can grab the outside of the foot as well as the right foot. If you're able to grab the feet, beginning to kick back into the hands, and this will pull your shoulders and chest up and back off the mat. Staying here if this feels like it's enough for you. Or at this point you can kick your feet up towards the sky, lifting your knees up off the mat, and then bringing your big toes to touch. Lifting up and then releasing with control, bringing your hands next to ribs, pushing up and back into a child's pose. Sitting your hips onto your heels and bringing your head to the mat. Breathing here, just allowing your lower back to fully decompress here. And gently beginning to climb back up onto all fours, tucking your toes and lifting your hips back to downward dog. Taking a full inhale and exhale. Looking forward, taking a big step with your right foot up, followed by the left. Hands to shins, belly in, halfway lift, and exhale, folding down. Inhale, hands rise all the way to the sky, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Dropping the hands down and taking the feet hip width apart. Placing your hands on your lower back and really grabbing the back of your pelvis here. Bending your knees. Scooping your hips forward as you lift your chest up and back as if you're bending over a big beach ball, allowing your head to go back. With control, engaging your core, coming all the way back up and over, allowing your fingers to brush down your legs, coming into a forward fold. grabbing opposite elbows and allowing your upper body to hang loose as you sway from side to side. Releasing fingers down, taking your feet a bit wider, pointing the toes out, taking your hands to heart and beginning to sit down into a yogi squat. Just as deep as you can go, pushing the knees outwards. If you can, press your elbows into the inner thighs to peel the hips open, pushing the knees apart. And coming through to a seated position with your hips on the mat, feet to the front. Preparing for Navasana or boat pose. Taking your heels a little bit away from you with the knees bent. And taking your chest back until you feel your belly engaging. Staying there, or if you'd like, you can take your feet up off the ground, either grabbing behind the knees or extending your fingers out, palms facing towards each other, lifting your chest as you squeeze your knees in closer to the chest. And with control, beginning to lower down to a low boat. Your heels are just off the mat, holding for 3, 2, and 1. Releasing down. Well done. Bringing your knees into your chest, hugging them in, and just taking rocks from side to side, massaging your lower back into the mat. Releasing your feet down onto the mat, just behind your hips, preparing for bridge pose. Pushing your hands into the mat, beginning to tuck your pelvis up, pushing through the heels, and then lifting your hips up off the ground, creating a long, straight line with the body, squeezing your glutes to lift the hips high, holding and breathing. And beginning to lower down with control. Preparing for round 2. Tucking your pelvis up, pushing through the heels, lifting your hips up. Maybe interlacing your fingers behind the back, wriggling your shoulders underneath you, and then lifting your chest up higher. Or you can even take it deeper and try to grab your ankles with your hands, lifting your chest up even higher into a back bend. Holding here wherever you are and breathing. And with control, coming up onto your toes and slowly rolling the spine down to the mat. Taking your hands up to the sky if you would like to attempt the full wheel pose. Placing your fingers backwards towards your shoulders. Lifting your hips up into your bridge. Staying here if this is enough, or trying to push up and place the crown of your head on the ground. Staying here if this is enough, or if you feel comfortable, pressing through the hands to lift your head up, stacking your shoulders over your wrists, so pushing your chest forward over the wrists, lifting your hips up by pushing through the heels, coming into a full wheel or Dandurasana pose, holding and breathing. Beginning to tuck your chin to chest and slowly roll all the way down onto the mat. Well done. Bringing your knees to chest and once again taking some gentle rocks from side to side. Keeping your legs in, extending your arms out to the side. Beginning to take your knees over to the left side, keeping your right shoulder down on the ground. Turning your head to look to the right. Holding and breathing. And taking your legs back up through the center, all the way over to the right side, keeping your left shoulder down, turning your gaze to look over your left fingers, holding and breathing. Bringing your knees back up through the center and coming into our final pose, happy baby. Taking your feet towards the sky, opening up through the hips, bending the knees. You can grab your ankles or the outsides of your feet if you can reach them. And then taking little rocks from side to side, massaging your spine into the ground while opening up through your hips. Bringing the soles of your feet together, grabbing your ankles and just drawing your heels in, allowing your hips to open for a moment, finishing off the practice, and taking your knees together, giving yourself a big squeeze as tight as you can, squeezing yourself into a tiny ball. And then releasing everything out, allowing your feet to fall open, allowing your palms to face the sky. Resting here for as long as you need. I recommend taking about 5 minutes. And while you lie here, take a moment to reflect on 3 things that you have to be grateful for in your life. And allow yourself to feel that gratitude deeply. And once you're done, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications if you'd like to see future videos. Rest well, and until next time, sending lots of love. Namaste.